Mom just called. We have to change our plans and head back home. What? What on earth are you talking about all of a sudden? We were en route to Hawaii for a family vacation, but the moment we landed at the airport, my husband dropped a bombshell. My top priority is always my mom. That's it. I'm going back home alone. Leaving our daughter and me behind, he really was going to head back to her hometown from this vacation spot. My name is Bella. I'm 30 years old. I've been married to Lowell for 7 years. When we got married, Lowell said, "I want you to become a homemaker." And since then, I've been supporting the family as a full-time housewife. We have a daughter named Elena, who's about to turn 4. She's adorable, and I love her very much. But around the time she was born, my husband started to change. When it was just the two of us, Lowell was very kind. He would come home starving after work. "Hey, I'm home. Are we having meatloaf today? Smells delicious." "Welcome home. It's almost ready. Go wash your hands." "Got it. I'll hang up my suit and wash my handkerchief too." "Sure, thank you." He was like this, very cooperative with housework. He had the habit of at least taking care of his own things. But ever since our daughter was born, it's as if he reverted back to being a child. I wonder if it's because I focused so much on taking care of our daughter that I had less time to care for him. The frequency of inviting his stepmother to our house increased, and he even started to berate me. Just like today, he complained constantly with his stepmother. "Hey, Bella, how come there's no cake or anything when my mom is here?" I didn't know your mom was coming. You didn't tell me." "Ugh, then go buy some now. It's rude to my mom. Right, Mom?" Prompted by my husband, his stepmother also joined in blaming me. "Yeah, really, why can't you be more considerate, Bella? Lowell is so kind." "I apologize. I'll go buy some right away." "By the way, could you please refrain from getting cakes from the convenience store? I can't handle anything that's not from a cake shop and costs at least $5, she said. "Yeah, right. Just the other day she was chowing down on a bunch of cream puffs that were on sale at the supermarket." Biting my tongue, I headed to the cake shop with my daughter. To make matters worse, my stepmother is extremely smitten with my husband, her only son. She dotes on my husband to an unbelievable extent, ignoring our circumstances and relentlessly insisting on us visiting home. Her demands for us to return home increase daily, and my husband becomes grumpy if I refuse. If I don't go with him, I can expect a hellish lecture from my stepmother. "Bella dear, why didn't you come today?" She confronts me over the phone. Even when I apologize saying I'm sorry, it doesn't appease my stepmother's wrath. "I'm sorry isn't enough. If you're going to apologize, you should have done so from the start." "But my daughter had plans to play with her friends today." "Huh? What are you talking about? Your mother-in-law is calling you, and you prioritize that. You're an insensitive daughter-in-law." "I'm sorry, but it was something we planned a while ago." A wife must always accompany her husband. What the mother-in-law says is absolute. It's common sense, isn't it? Seriously, what era does she think this is? I'm always at a loss with my stepmother, who insists on pushing these outdated norms onto me. But since I'm a full-time housewife, I can't consider divorce as an option. Reluctantly, I continue to let myself drift with the flow of things. Then, one day, we had planned a long vacation, a trip to Hawaii with my husband and daughter. It was a family trip for 3 nights and 4 days that we had planned for a while. My daughter, who was taking a plane for the first time, was causing a ruckus as soon as she got into her seat. "Mom, planes are amazing. They're like birds." "Yes, they are. It's going to fly even higher now, okay?" "Really? Amazing. I can't wait." However, despite being on a much-awaited vacation, my husband wouldn't take his eyes off his smartphone. I sneaked a peek at the screen and saw that he was in a chat with my stepmother. You've got to be kidding. Is he really keeping in touch with my mother-in-law even while we're on vacation? We've told her about the family trip, so she shouldn't need to keep in touch so often. Despite my frustration, I repressed my feelings, seeing my daughter's happy face. We shouldn't fight here. Thinking this, I purposely didn't say anything to my husband. Upon safely arriving in Hawaii and leaving the airport, my husband said something outrageous. "My mother has called. We're changing our plans and heading home." "What?" Caught off guard by my husband's words, I immediately objected. "Wait, what are you talking about? Go home. We just got here." "We can't help it, can we? My mother is lonely all by herself." "But we've informed her about our trip in advance. Elena was looking forward to it. Do you plan on ruining her vacation? Your mother is being incredibly selfish." "So you're bad-mouthing my parents now? Are you really my wife? My mother always says it. A wife must always accompany her husband." "But why? Why do we have to be interrupted, even on our long-awaited family trip?" Under normal circumstances, I would have listened to my husband and we would have turned right around to head back to my in-laws' place. However, I had a reason for not backing down this time. A friend from my student days, Marilyn, was running a restaurant with her husband, and we planned to visit it during this trip. My husband knew about this as well. Still, the fact that he was prioritizing my stepmother over this was unacceptable. This time, my husband will have to compromise. I, who was absolutely unwilling to back down this time, tried to persuade my husband again. Hey, we had planned to go to Marilyn's place later today, remember? I've already let them know we've arrived as planned. So what? We can just cancel, right? Can't you see? She must have prepared a lot of food waiting for us. How can I say now that I can't make it? As I said this, my husband made a disgusted face and yelled, You must be joking. Listen, I don't care about that. My top priority is my mother. You're still saying that even after we've come all this way. Your mother isn't a child. She could wait a little. Enough. So you prioritize your friends over your husband's mother? That's not what I meant. I've had enough of you. I never thought you'd be so heartless. That's it. I'm going home alone. My enraged husband left me and our daughter behind and returned home by himself. Wait, are you kidding me? We came all this way to Hawaii for a family vacation and he prioritizes his mother and goes back on a whim. I have no choice. I'll continue the trip with our daughter. We later visited my friend's restaurant without my husband and stayed at the hotel we had booked with our daughter. Waiting for us were my furious husband and his stepmother. Bella, are you crazy letting Lowell go home alone while you enjoy your vacation? As soon as she saw my face, his stepmother berated me with incredible rage. I told your mother about the family trip in advance. So what? Whether it's a trip or whether your parents are dying, if I as your mother-in-law say come back, you come back. That's a wife's duty, right? That's absurd. Upon hearing the exchange between me and his stepmother, my husband shouted, Enough! I can't stand Bella's attitude any longer. I want a divorce. Divorce? I was surprised and opened my eyes wide. Wait a minute. Suddenly talking about divorce? Shut up. You don't show enough respect to me and my mother. I'm done with you. You're joking, right? We have Elena. What are you saying? I'll live with my mother. You do whatever you want. Don't ever show up in front of me and my mother again. Saying that, my husband threw divorce papers at me. Stunned by the sudden situation, the stepmother stuck a nail in my side. That's right. Divorce him right now. A good-for-nothing wife like you doesn't deserve Lowell. Even your daughter who looks just like you isn't cute at all. Get out of here. But, even you, mother-in-law. My parents have already entered a facility and my childhood home has been sold. As a housewife, if I were kicked out of the mansion under my husband's name, I would have nowhere to go. But no matter how hard I tried to persuade him, my husband and his stepmother would not change their minds. As a result, I was forced to stamp the divorce papers. After that, the divorce was finalized in the condition that he pays child support. Since the stepmother, who sold her own house, moved into our house, my daughter and I were kicked out of the mansion. Phew, finally, no more troublemakers. From today on, Mother and I can live comfortably, together. When we left the mansion, we heard the deliberate voices of my husband and his stepmother. Absolutely, it's like a dream to be able to live with Lowell again. All right, next time I'll find a more loyal and good wife. That's the spirit, Lowell. We need to find a well-behaved wife who will obey us this time. Let's not get stuck with a loser. I got it, Mom. I won't make that mistake again. After hearing their conversation, I felt a whirlwind of anger rushing through my body. I'll no longer forgive you for saying such nonsense. I will definitely have my revenge someday. You better keep living carelessly here until then. I slammed the door loudly enough to drown out the laughter of the two and left the apartment. I had no destination in mind, but I vowed to get back at them someday. I held my daughter's hand and headed to the nearest family restaurant, while wondering what to do next. I got a call from my friend Marilyn. Hello, Bella. Thanks for the other day. Marilyn, I'm the one who should apologize. My husband was supposed to come with us. No problem at all. How are your husband and your mother-in-law doing? That's, Listening to my friend's voice, I couldn't hold back anymore and confessed everything to her with a feeling of desperation. After hearing my story, Marilyn paused for a moment, then cheerfully said, Why don't you come over to our place? Wait, your place? You mean your house in Hawaii? Yeah, we have a spare room, and we were thinking of hiring more staff since we've been busy lately. Could you stay with us and help? Are you sure? Won't it be a burden? Of course not. We have enough furniture and everything, so you don't need to worry about a thing. Just come as you are. Thank you. Really, thank you so much, Marilyn. And so my daughter and I were headed back to Hawaii. Marilyn and her husband, who had no children of their own, took care of not only me, but also my daughter in every way possible. I started working at Marilyn's store and got a cook license. A year passed as my work got on track. Just when I thought my life was finally getting stable and I was emotionally secure, I got a call from my ex-husband. The first thing he said was, "Help me! Where are you right now? I'll come get you. Just help me out." "Help you out? I don't understand what you mean." "Just listen to me." "What now? I'm busy. My mother fell down the stairs and needs care. I'm the only one here right now, and I'm really in trouble. I can't handle both work and caregiving." He began to list all the convenient things for him in a hurry. "I've decided to forgive you, Bella. You must be having a hard time raising a child alone, right? So you can come back home. Let's support my mother and together as a couple from now on." Honestly, I was speechless. A year ago, he forced a divorce on me at the instigation of my stepmother and kicked my daughter and me out. Now he wants me to take care of her? What a joke! Who would buy such a convenient story? Filled with rage, I told him, "Forgive? You've got to be kidding me. There's no way I'm going along with your convenient story now." What? Are you going to abandon me and my mother? Who abandoned whom first? Besides, we're divorced. You're not my family anymore. Of course, neither is your mother. Wait a minute. Ever since my mother needed care, she's become selfish. I'm really in trouble, so help. Oh, it's your beloved mother's selfishness. Right. Fulfill all her wishes. You chose her over your wife and daughter, after all. But, you're the only one I can rely on, Bella. Huh? I don't care about that. It's clearly your own doing. Don't worry about Lena. I'll take responsibility for raising her. You and your beloved mother should live happily ever after. Hey, don't be so cold. Fueled by anger, I took a breath. Stop it already. The moment you forced me to stamp that divorce application, our marriage was long over. It's disgusting that you're clinging on to me now. Don't you ever contact me again. If you keep harassing me, I'll call the police. With that, she hung up the phone unilaterally. Despite the constant calls and emails from her ex-husband, she blocked them all. In doing so, she was finally free from the curse of that family. Afterwards, the ex-husband, unable to bear taking care of his selfish stepmother, quit his job and went missing. The stepmother, abandoned by her son, was passed around relatives until it seemed she was finally put into a facility. Rumors say that the ex-husband, after disappearing, was trying to locate her through mutual friends. Well, he won't find her. Even if he did, she would simply report him to the police for harassment. When that time comes, she plans to make him pay all the overdue child support for their daughter at once. As for her friend's restaurant was thriving, and they were opening a branch where she was appointed as the manager. Their daughter had become an elementary school student and was enjoying her daily life. "Mama, I'm off. Take care. Be careful, okay?" "Yes, Mama. Do good at the shop, too." "Thanks. I'll do my best." Although becoming a manager kept her busy, her life was far more fulfilling than before. All thanks to her friend, Marilyn. She could never thank her enough. She was who she was today, all thanks to her ex-husband returning to his family home back then. Life is unpredictable. From now on, she wants to live each day with gratitude without becoming arrogant about her current life.